Every generation needs a revolution, Jimmy. The American dream is just that. Just a dream. War is a continuation of politics, only by other means. Politics is a continuation of economics by other means. This is our bank. This is our war. And this is our plan of attack.
Banks have become an essential threat to our democracy. So consider this justice.
Thank you for listening to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com, the #1 listener-supported radio station on the internet. Please help support this station so this battle can continue forward. Revolution Radio! The opinions expressed on this radio station, its programs, and its website by the hosts, guests, and call-in listeners or chatters are solely the opinions of the original source who expressed them. They do not necessarily represent the opinions of Revolution Radio and freedomslips.com, its staff, or affiliates. You're listening to Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, 100% listener-supported radio, and now we return you to your host.
Insanity runs in my family. Practically gallops.
No stems, no seeds that you don't need. Acapulco Gold is.
This is the most acid I've ever seen anybody eat in my life. Wow, man.
Fire it up, boy!
Why don't you get a job, Koyote?
What for?
You need money.
All I need are some tasty waves, cool buzz, and I'm fine.
Welcome and thanks for tuning in to Revolution Radio. And now it's time for that feral hippie herself, an infotartic, esoteric, eclectic mix of the adventures of that feral hippie, Miss Mona Radler.
What are you people? On dope?
That was my skull! I'm so wasted!
Make a move and the bunny gets it.
Dave's not here.
All right, Mona, it's all yours. Take it away.
Do. Yes, we're here at freedomslips.com, revolution.radio, and Haggy Shack, and cosmicreality.net. Okay, hey. Yeah, I should have yodeled before the show because my throat is kind of... But I'm using the Dell. Everybody in chat, let me know how it sounds, if I'm coming through clear or not. Because I have a great guy coming on, but he's got to use his phone. So basically, I am rigging it as usual. Let's say I sound fine. Do the the hijacker quote. Check the studio. All right, we're good. We are good to go. Now, if I can just remind you that we're all listener supported, so don't forget to donate. Go to the homepage. Check out the seed packs, the heirloom seeds. Spring is on its way. And then archives for all those shows that you have missed. Last night's show was really good with the Mad Painter and Richard Allen Miller. It was a nice conversation about, of course, every little bit thing that you could probably consider. But, it's all good. You want to definitely keep this show on. So do the donate click, get the archives, and don't forget to go to Haggy Shack and Cosmic Reality and support them too. So let me see if I can contact my guest and see if he is going to call me, because he's supposed to call me. Now, he just got off his own radio show because it's Peter Coyote. with, oh, what is the name of his radio show? I should remember it. I listen to all of his things. Oh, gosh. My mind is not here at the moment. Excuse me, leave a message. Okay, let me see here. Because each computer has its own working system. They're not the same. Which is really kind of like, what? Yep, okay, who did I call? He is not those numbers. Okay, so I need to go this, and see if it comes up. Oh, I forgot the +1. Ah! Oh, well, we all learn, right? There you go. And see if he can get the message through the mobile to call me. Okay, there we go. Yeah, this tech stuff was supposed to make life easier. Boy, oh boy, tell you what, ain't happening. Okay, let's see if I can add him to group call. It says I can. Doesn't say I'm going to put anybody on hold, so let's find out. You can only do by trying, right? Ever perfect. Oh, did I give him time to go potty after a show? Oh, that was not fair of me. Because I know how much I like to go potty after my show. All right, Peter, are you coming in? Well, the phone is ringing, so we'll see what happens. There he is. Hey, sugar pie.
Well, who is this?
Peter, this is Mona.
Mona Macarona. How you doing? Oh, man, I forgot about that, didn't I? Well, here we are. My goodness.
You got your teeth in? Everything okay?
Well, yeah, I'm just munching down on something. It's going to take me a second here.
Oh, well, that's okay. I mean, why not, right? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I said after my show, I'd want to go potty and eat too, but nope, I had to go and.
No, I've been loafing this morning because my internet's been down. I haven't been able to get it back up, so I just been loafing today.
Oh, okay, cool. Then I get you fresh, huh?
Beg pardon?
So you're coming in fresh.
Yeah, fresh as a flower, man.
Give me the name of your Coyote show. Your radio show. Remind me your name of the rodeo, your radio show.
Okay, we call it, these days, it's still a Coyote medicine show, but we call it Spring Creek, which is like from the beginning. It's that moment where that first little trickle of water comes up and starts creating life, It's that same place, the stream of life at its smallest, at its most spectacular moment of expression,
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's called Spring Creek, yeah. Creek is the Western vernacular for creek in the East,
The bloop. The little mud puddle, right, that comes up? The bloop?
Yeah. Well, not really a mud puddle. It's a clear, cold drink of water, man. But, boy, I tell you, it's the most refreshing water there can ever be. So you get a little sip of that, and, baby, you're ready to make history because you just did. Because now you understand it, so you can let it go. That's the message of the rock and roll and whatever other medicine we add to it there, And it's on the Hazy Radio Network, hazyradio.com, HEY letter Z RADIO.com,
Well, and usually you're doing tunes, right? Aren't you spinning tunes on your show?
I'm spinning tunes, and then in between we talk about some of the finer things in life, So it's a little rock and a little talk,
But isn't that all a matter of somebody's opinion? And they do vary, Peter.
Well, let me tell you, these songs just come out of me. I got a big long list, and I just kind of pick and choose from that as the moment hits me. So there's a lot of message in the music too, and I like to call it multidimensional because that's what it really is. It's like there's all these different levels in these works of art, and you'll hear it you'll hear one message one time and another whole different level of it the next time. And maybe the next time, another level of it. When you've been listening to it off and on for 30, 40 years, and you're still learning and growing in that tunage, that rock and roll. Well, and everybody thought it was such a dirigible, and it would go the way of the dirigible. It wasn't, man. It was the opening that people were looking for, and so it kind of helped create it, man,
Yeah, but
life is
some
meant
of that time, Peter, it was so derogatory that you hear a song that you know by heart, and it's because you heard the repetition for so long, but then you come to find out it's a sad song, and it's harmful, and how do we remove the harmful after all that repetition?
Well, baby, we just don't be harmful people ourselves. It's pretty simple, really. If you try to contain your own sense of anger and direct it in a more positive way, at least that's my way of looking at it. And that's what kind of rock and roll demonstrated back in the day. Now, I'm not saying every piece, but all of it was just the general tone of it was channeled music right from the stars, man, right from the heart of the stars, which is, we're the baby children of the universe. So basically it was a message to the children, okay, time to wake up now. And it really did begin to awaken us,
Well, for some reason I'm thinking Motown, Peter. Do you play any Motown?
I play Motown too. You bet. I play everything, man. You bet.
Uh-huh.
I get a lot of the hair bands from back in the 80s too, I play I'll even play like the McGuire sisters every now and then. Sincerely, I love that shit, I mean, it has everything seems to find a place. I even got Ray Stevens singing I Saw Elvis in a UFO, I mean, it's pretty cool what I've done with it there. Wow. It's been a lot of fun, and it's designed to uncreate the heartache that people have been feeling, because you really can let go of the past and all of the effects in it.
Right.
It kind of just dissolves. It just dissolves. We've learned our lessons, obviously, by now. I mean, most of humanity seems to be going the other way, but I don't think so. I think we got it on, man. I think we're getting there, I think we're just seeing levels of untruthfulness being revealed in this reality so that the truthfulness can get on its way. You know what I mean?
Hey, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Well, I don't mean, I'm sorry if I got on my soapbox real quick, but it's just
Honey,
wow.
I love your soapbox. Don't you be sorry for anything. Sorry brings sorrow. Please don't go there. You're an angel in my eyes. You know that.
I'm trying to hang in here. I really am trying to hang in here. I have my issues, with this life, but I don't really want to go away just yet. I'm having far too much fun here to let myself down like that, let alone everybody else,
Well, but things have sped up, Peter, with all this technology and the advanced equipment out there. We're all being rapidly more progressed than what should be natural. You know that.
Oh, yeah, baby. Hey, I tell you what, if I could just get my Starship buddies to come on down here, help me out a little bit, put me in one of their green rooms for a day or two. Shoot, I'd be just fine.
I know. Just go to Russia, man. They have complete rooms made out of shungite. They healed the astronauts from their dilemmas in the because they were getting too much of one thing and not enough of another thing that's organic to their existence, because they were on the Earth and they separated themselves, and they healed in the shungite rooms. That's really.
But see, there's another level of that, which is like, at some point there was a critical invasion of the human population in mass. There's a lot of legends built around it, a lot of stories of similar character, but it's essentially when people began to fall apart and ran off to the far corners of the earth and started over again as separated little tribes and as separated little people, when before that all we'd known was togetherness. So this was a complete 180-degree switch that came in relatively swiftly. Overnight it happened. and bam, the whole earth changed, you know. And the earth right along with it reformed herself too. It was a pretty harrowing time, you know, but it was and it's been so long ago that most people have forgotten it.
Right.
But it's in your genetic structure. It's there. And it's as real as anything else is. And what's been done can be undone. So that's what you and I and people like us, no matter what format we take with it, that's what we're all about, is unraveling the mystery of all that.
But I got the needle and thread to fix the tears, Peter. It is. It's all an undoing and doing in return at the same time.
Yeah, it's undoing and redoing and, you know, putting it all back together again after Humpty Dumpty all fell apart.
Yeah, but who got the permission to push him? See, that's not fair. We got to have a level playing field, and that's what I work for. I'm not going to.
Yeah, exactly. But my point is that we already have it. That in each human being is the power to affect that in your life, and it's just a matter of remembering how powerful we really are. To let our idea of the power dissolve into something different, of course, because the only real power is creation and what we're living in and how we experience that. That's it. You see, and if we can get ourselves on a level playing field inside where we're treating ourselves with respect first and foremost and taking care of our basic needs and so forth, you know, and then reaching out and compassion.
Can't do it for themselves because they weren't taught. See, that's the whole thing. They unlearned so many things through the past generations, the last 2 at least, maybe 3, that they don't even know how to think about how to raise a hen to have an egg to get a chicken.
Well, that's why people like you and me are around to help people wake up. And when they hit their ready point, see, it doesn't have to happen to everybody in mass, like, okay, all those, but that's what does happen. But nobody really has to be tuned into anything. Just a few folks have to remember it. And then the 100th monkey effect, that kind of thing I'm talking about. Once it's realized in a handful of people, then in that handful it's spread all to all the rest, no matter whether we're joined by the earth or some other way, you know. I mean, the monkey thing would change from island to island, but there's no monkey swimming back and forth or taking boats back and forth.
Are you sure? Are you there, Peter? Now, come on.
What?
I said, are you sure? Are you sure that one didn't float over after a hurricane and send that information?
Whatever, you know. I mean, all I know is it's spread cosmically, you know.
Well, you're talking about the consciousness, and that there's group consciousnesses that we are all amongst. Right.
Yeah. Well, the group consciousness is our personal consciousness too, believe it or not.
Well, one feeds the other, doesn't it?
What?
One feeds the other, doesn't it?
Well, they're the same thing, really. It's just a matter of perspective, you know. It's like the molecule and what the molecule is a part of. You know what I mean? It's still one big old molecule, but this way it's expressed that way, and that way it's expressed this way. So it's a little tiny molecule on the one hand. On the other hand, it's the whole person or the whole thing that the molecule is a part of, you know.
Well, wouldn't that mean intent?
The molecule can, what's that?
Wouldn't that mean the intent of what the molecule is supposed to do because of external influences?
Yeah, but see, they're born automatically knowing from whatever it is to be what they are, and so that's what they be. And that just, I mean, the molecule don't have too much of a job other than just being itself.
Right.
And maintaining that presence, you know, as whatever form it's taken. And, you know, you notice molecules do a pretty good job of keeping everything together somehow and keeping it moving and going, you know.
Well, do you think our thoughts are those molecules? Because we sure do create an external existence, don't we?
We live, it's that perception thing, yeah. That's where the thinking part comes in perception. But the mind itself is not creator. You know, without the heart, it's nothing. It's just an analytical machine. And I think we've
Exactly.
proven that time and again, haven't we? Yeah. Yeah. So it's like, but the mind and the heart joined, united, as they truthfully are. The most powerful thing that ever could be, man. We don't even need industry or agriculture anymore. We got it all. We can instantly create whatever we are, wherever we are, whatever we want. And I'm not saying I live that way just yet, but I can sure see it coming.
All right, let me tell you
what I mean?
popped into my mind when you said that. Remember
Okay.
the old, early English paintings of the religious churches and stuff like that? And Mary and Jesus would have like an aura around them?
Well, that's our reality.
Right, but that's what I'm saying, that you just explained the pure truth of what it should have been, or what it should be.
Yeah.
I saw
see,
the
we
aura
really are.
from Dalai Lama. He has a big aura. It's really amazing. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, cool, yeah.
Yeah, I got to shake
I love
his
it
hand.
all.
I didn't say a word to him. I just bent over, shook his hand, because he had to. This was in St. Pete, Florida, and he had to fly back to Tibet, India, wherever he was at, because of one of the biggest earthquakes that ever happened in that area. And the moon that came down, because I was right on the beach and I was sitting in a banyan tree, was so huge. It took up a good. It was humongous, okay? It was literally not what we would normally have as a moon. That was an interesting day. That really was.
Yeah. Far out, man. And it was, well, I just try to love it, and so maybe someday we can all live it. And I go through it just like, in fact, I think I get hit with a lot more than the average folk does.
Yeah, haven't you?
Yeah, I tell you, but but it seems like out of that kind of, you find your endurance out of that kind of trials.
Duh. Just don't ask for any wisdom, man. It comes with a price.
Yeah, well, shit, I tell you, I never believed that. Till it started hitting me like that, I'm going, oh, shit. Now you got to pay the piper. It's a bunch of bull, man, but there you are. Yeah, I'm sitting here right now, like, I'm pretty sure I busted a rib in my back the other day. I took a tumble just out of nowhere, lost my balance, and took a tumble and couldn't quite recover. And I didn't feel nothing at the time. I thought I was just fine. I got up, went and had a cup of coffee with my friend, and everything had been okay till the next day. And then I got to get up, and oh my goodness, this pain hit me. And anyway, so I'm trying to get over to the doctor maybe tomorrow. But,
but
stuff
the whole
like
thing,
this.
Peter, is just envision it healed. You have the molecule to change that. And it's all by your perspective.
Exactly. And so it's just, I'm learning and growing just like everybody else. I think sometimes they throw this harder stuff at you so you can accelerate your process. They'll give you all you can take, because it seems like the more adversity you face, it seems like the stronger you become.
The more you laugh at yourself.
Yeah, exactly. That's where the strength comes from, is laughing at yourself. My goodness, I tell you.
No.
You just can't take any of it too serious. And I still have that tendency, too. It's the coyote will always nip you on the backside and remind you, hey, come on, it's just a game. Get going, man.
Oh, well, yeah. In the coyote medicine in the Native American, it's south exposure, and it will bite you in the it's the coyote, just like the one in Roadrunner Coyote. It's always trying to have control, but it never is allowed.
Yeah, well, it's more of a testing ground. It's not trying to get control. It's just the mischief maker reminding us that it's all mischief, that it really is kind of a cosmic setup,
The big sign that says don't touch, and all 10 fingers just got burnt.
Dang, don't ever learn, but what the hell, You got to burn, baby, burn. You got to learn, baby, learn. That's the way it is.
Choice. Come on. I don't want to make hell on anything. I'm really trying to sow the seeds of, hey, people, let's have a blessing. Okay? I am so over the deficit, but I also know how I can change it.
Yeah.
And I do attempt every day.
Everybody does, but you more so than a lot because you've got some influence in this old world, you know? So you can touch a lot more hearts in one moment than a lot of us can.
It definitely wasn't intentional. Oh, gosh. That's the whole funny part. When you trust into the universe, the adventures get actually more plausible and a little easier because you know it is just the ride of the not the Ferris wheel, the whatever. You know, the slide.
Merry-go-round. It's a merry-go-round with an elevated appearance, man. Yeah.
But we went for a long ride today, Peter, and I haven't been back in this area, and we're up on a mountaintop, and just to see the big old creek and the river just flowing like it's supposed to, and the branches of the colors are coming out now, so I got to see pink and yellow and a little green, so my heart went pitter-patter. Ooh, look at here! A couple moon cows.
Yeah. Listen to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com.
Awesome, man. Good to be living in such country, isn't it, you know? Where you can feel the Mother Earth. I love that kind of... well, I've always been inclined to such places, you know.
Okay, Peter, we got our first break coming up, honey, so take about 3 minutes and stretch and tell yourself you love yourself. We'll be right back.
What is this truth jihad thing?
All right, I love me, baby.
But jihad
I love you too. We'll be right back.
Term. Jihad means effort or struggle. The greater jihad is the struggle to be a better person, while the lesser jihad is the struggle to defend the community. Prophet Muhammad, peace upon him, did say that the best jihad is a word of truth flung in the face of a tyrant. And that's what we do here at Truth Jihad Radio. Every Friday, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern, 5 to 7 Pacific, right here on Revolution Radio.
We talk about decentralization and then annihilation. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Litecoin, your coin, blockchain, baby. Mondays at 1600 hours Eastern, Studio A.
Are we ready?
Find some comfort at Willow's World. A variety of news, commentary and poetry at Willow's Poetry Corner, where there are comfy cushions and a tempting selection of delectable comestibles. A show that's quirkily and quintessentially British, with a unique twist featuring Willow Andreasen, your host. Join Willow, Monday, 6 to 8 p.m. EST, Studio B.
The opinions expressed on this radio station, its programs, and its website by the hosts, guests, and call-in listeners or chatters are solely the opinions of the original source who expressed them. They do not necessarily represent the opinions of Revolution Radio and freedomslips.com, its staff, or affiliates. You're listening to Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, 100% listener-supported radio, and now we return you to...
We're just about there.
Okay.
Studio B! Studio B! Yeah, I'm almost got this timed out really, really good, man.
Cool. Appreciate it all, baby.
Well, you learn to make the best out of everything, because if you don't, you're miserable, and I don't like miserable.
No, miserable is no fun, man. Well, it can be. I mean, you can have a lot of fun being miserable if you think about it, you know. Get all self-righteous, feel so good about yourself, feeling bad, you know, taking all this on because other people just won't. It's only me. I mean, you can justify anything, make yourself feel good about it.
Oh, yeah, I know that's dangerous, Peter. I mean, come on.
No shit.
Oh, I want
that
flowers, rainbows, and unicorns, y'all. You hear me? Fairy gardens are coming out soon. Just wait. There's going to be... If we don't do it, who's going to, Peter?
I tell you, well, yeah, I got to start with blame it on the Coyote for first. And, you know, ask them to reform. You know, when they reform, the rest of us will get it. Right?
I like the Coyote. It's better than a Tasmanian devil. I mean, come on.
Yeah, well, I don't know, better or worse. I know I'd rather have a companion in a coyote than a Tasmanian devil for sure. I don't even know what those things are, but I know they rev up and they really tear hell out of things in the cartoons.
All right, I found an earthworm today, Peter.
What?
I found an earthworm today. He came right out to say hi to me and everything.
Oh, cool, man. That's awesome. You know, that's family stuff.
I didn't have to dig for it. And I've actually seen snail slime. I'm so excited. There's some life here on this mountain, man. Whoa.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, you just came, where were you, down in Florida for a while or something?
Oh, no, I'm still in North Carolina. Around Nashville area, uh-huh.
Yeah, no, but I mean, I thought you said you'd been gone for a bit.
No, I lived 50 years in Florida. But I won't go back.
I wouldn't blame you.
You were born there?
No, I said I wouldn't blame you for not going back. Shoot, no, I was born over in Utah. I didn't even know what Florida was.
A lot of migrant workers, a few of the natives, because that's where they took them when the Trail of Tears.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of history of Earth, and a lot of people don't know it. I've done quite a few ceremonies on burial grounds. There's some amazing stuff in St. Pete. At least there used to be. The last UFO I saw there, because it's all flat, okay? The only way you're going to get up high anywhere is if you're going over a bridge. I was on top of this bridge. The sky was pure blue, except for this big old cylinder. And I want to say it was etheric, but it was in cloud form. Perfect disc, okay? Over MacDill Air Force Base, the St. Pete Clearwater Airport, and the Tampa Airport. And I'm like, no, I couldn't get my camera out. There was no way I could stop on the top of this overpass. You know?
Yeah.
Gosh. So I don't know if anybody else saw it.
I've seen similar things over. I've seen those military-looking ones over there around Colorado Springs before. Well, I've even seen them out in the desert quite a bit too. But they seem to have a lot of UFO sightings around here in this San Luis Valley area. You know, it has a history of it. A lot of really interesting activities here. Some of them not too kindly, you know.
Oh, I don't want to hear that, but yes, I know those kind. Personally.
Yeah, that's why I call them as I do. But you got to remember that was, well, according to what somebody established somewhere back there, that was our own people doing that stuff.
Well, sure shit. You watched X-Files, didn't you?
No, I didn't. I haven't been into television for years now.
Oh, but if you can get Netflix and watch the whole series of X-Files, honey, it is so right on to where we are today.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that from a lot of folks, man. Muldower and Muldoon or something like that.
Mulder, yeah. Scully and Mulder.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, yeah. See, I've heard about them, but I don't know too much about it. But, yeah. That's one level of it, but the other reality of it is this stuff's been going on for thousands and thousands of years. There's nothing new about it, you know.
Yeah.
What is new about it is people are seeing more of it. That's what's new about it. And they're getting it on their video cams and shit, you know.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that's awesome because it used to be you'd see something, you didn't have anything to film it with. You just had to, you know, watch it and know that you were living through a real experience of some sort or another, you know.
Duh. Right. On many levels, in many dimensions.
You know, people thought you were nuts if you ever talked about it, so you didn't talk about it too much, just to a select few, you know. And nowadays it's so widespread. People aren't afraid to talk about it so much anymore because everybody pretty much has seen something, you know, at one point or another.
Just look for the UPC code, man.
Yeah, but I see part of that too is the expanding of the conscious presence, because that allows us to see what was unseeable before, you know. So we're just dissolving away the levels of division between us, so the other world is becoming more visible, you know.
Yeah, but didn't the Hopi prophesize that also?
Beg pardon?
Didn't the Hopi Indians prophesize that?
I think the Hopis and the Buddhists and the Hindus before them and all of that have all been talking about such things as that. Yeah. In fact, we came pretty close in past times in our true human history. There's been times when we were almost ready to make it, and something always knocked it out of our hands somehow or another, and we'd wind up disempowered again and have to go back to square one and start over, you know.
Yeah, I'm over the cycle. Right. I know, right? Oh my God.
And that's where we kind of are now, and these times we're not quite. I mean, we all know where it's supposed to go, but it's still like there's a lot of unsurety there, isn't there? You know, with some folks anyway, you know.
But that's where free will comes in, Peter, because then we get the right to see both sides and make our own choice instead of being told we're not allowed to go.
Yeah, but we're not an isolated person to make that kind of choice. You know, we don't have that kind of individuality. We're a molecule in a much larger body, and you know, we're programmed to do what we do and be what we are, you know. I mean, there's no change in that. It's just a matter of realizing that's what we are and living happily in that. And then you experience the whole person because of that. That's kind of along those lines for me. You know, see, so free will takes on a whole, it's the free will choice of the whole heart, not just one little element of it, you know.
Oh, well, yeah.
It's, you know, so really we're making these choices in a communal sort of way anyway, and even they may not even be choices at all. It just looks that way from here because we have felt so isolated from one another. You know what I mean? We felt like as if we're the only one, and sometimes you really are. But, you know, the reality is we're not. We're completely in it together. As a human race, you'd be amazed how similar our experience moment to moment is, and how we're all dealing with the same basic elemental energies in our life, you know, at the same moment, you know, in different ways, of course, because there's a lot of ways to express and experience. Oh, my goodness. It's like we are so gathered in togetherness, yet people are so caught in our separateness that it's hard to see the togetherness. We've really, really been pulled apart from one another and brainwashed into thinking we're an isolated person, and it's all about us and everybody else.
That's where the oligarchs and everything showed the plan, that there is a higher source, but they were made to be human instead of nature, and we've paid a high cost for that we've had to scrounge to supposedly get to the higher self-being by economy and money. They've changed the whole idea of what real spirit is because
we never ever had to trade for anything. Long time ago, we had it all, just like I've been describing. So there was no need at all for money. Whatever you wanted, it was there. Whatever you needed, it was there. And it's still that way. But the illusion is the money and the industry that creates it. It's really not that at all. It's us creating that.
It's allowing that creation, right.
Right. I mean, in this dimension, experiencing it, but we're creating it in this dimension too, for our experiential, and as our part, that automatic part of the molecule that does what it's come to do, well, that's what we're doing too. Primarily that, so each one of us has our own little specialty. I mean, that's what makes us feel so individual and sometimes isolated, because we are little specialists, in one tiny little area of life. But that doesn't mean we can't and don't experience the whole life. Of course we do. But we somehow let ourselves get cut off and isolated from that. That's where all sorts of depression and anything that goes with it, like warfare, is like, because we feel cut off from our source.
Well, it's because we were smacked on the ass at birth, Peter, and we've been told no, when everything should be, let's see, it's a maybe, and we'll give you an idea of what you're up against. I mean, I never told my children no. And they've all been...
spoon feed you a little bit here or there. Yeah, I'd love to spoon feed you.
Wait a minute, I don't think so,
But it doesn't come from them. It comes from us. It's just whatever we'll open up to. Whatever level we want to live it at, that's where we are right now. So, and as it changes, then the whole thing changes with us,
I know,
That's
right?
why what we're talking about, you and I, what we're talking about taking care of your person is really important. And recognizing that free will really is going with the wisest choice the heart could ever make. So there's no choice in it at all. It's a flow, man. It's a natural way of being. We used to call some of it common sense, but that's just an inkling of what it really is.
Right.
It's a flow. It's a feeling that becomes the experience we feel, and it creates that feeling and that experience simultaneous. Pretty wild when you can experience it that way. Maybe I'll live long enough to do it. I hope so. Because that's the whole lesson of humanity, is to learn to feel that creation and be that creation.
But it's also to give thanks for it, Peter, and to appreciate it while you have it, because we are all being loaned this existence. We can't own any of it. So why don't we honor and give thanks to more of the true existence instead of thinking we have to possess it? Because we don't even know how to possess ourselves yet.
Exactly. Well, how can you possess anything? I don't know.
I don't.
I mean, here you are. You got fingers and hands and arms you can hang on to for a little while, but sooner or later you got to let go.
Well, yeah.
You can't own nothing, man.
I just know I'm borrowing everything, and I am very blessed for what I have to cover my ass. And if somebody else needed it, and I knew I would be a benefit to them, they'd have it. Just because.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it doesn't have to stay the way it's been, and it ain't gonna. You know what I mean? That's why those guys on the other side of this equation are starting to panic, but they really understand it far more than we do in a way, because they know that they were just here to serve a function for a while until that function was no longer necessary. Then they changed, like everybody else does.
Right.
So it's more like some kind of video game that just we finally got to the higher levels of it somehow. And now we get the reward shit. We get all the good stuff,
Well, I see good stuff, even if it does seem to be bad stuff. It's just, I'd rather be creating and manifesting other things that are making other people feel good too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Me too, man. Me too. I love it that way. Yeah.
So I'll have to send you the song "I Am Love." You want a good song? It is a good song. I'll put it on your Facebook wall. My friend Ed Roman, he's a Canadian musician. I've had him on my show a few times. He's just really a great guy. And
I say awesome. I love it. That's Crazy, man. It's cool.
It's one of my pre-show songs because it's uplifting and mind-opening and I'd like to have more musicians on, but I don't know music. I'm only a listener. But music is really one of the biggest factors that we've molded with. That's all I can say, molded with. But I like all kinds of things. Just don't put me in front of a symphony or a country. Sometimes, like Charlie Daniels, that was good country. Leon Russell, that's a whole different story. I love it. So.
Yeah, well, I like Garth Brooks and Friends in Low Places, and I like Sunday the Pioneer singing Cool Water. I like a little of Gene Autry's old stuff, Back in the Saddle Again, and the Silvery Colorado. See, I'm into even that too. But, I see those things as the little cowboy song, kind of as precedents to the rock and roll that came later. It was an element of it that came along about the same time, but had a great influence on it,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But in music, that is just general music. It can't even really be put in a genre. That's where part of the separation is. Some of the most funnest music is when you get a bunch of people together, some beer, some marijuana, and you party down with a barbecue. Sometimes that is...
To me, that everything we've been describing is rock and roll. From Gene Autry on outward, to me, that's all rock and roll. Just different elements of it, different levels of it. But yeah, it's all rock. Wouldn't you say? That's what you're saying, right?
Oh yeah. As long as it's good music, but they can trick you with it because what I think, now this is my opinion only, that when the Muslims do their prayers, we know that not all Muslims say the words are not positive. And so they're playing this beautiful music and saying something derogatory. And then we go to the feeling of the music, or we go into the feeling that they're creating. It's like it could be used against us so much. I'm like going, oh my gosh. You do have to make good decisions with what it is you're listening to.
I think you just got to be conscious in your life. That's all. And stuff like that can't hurt you. Music is what life is made out of, Yep, I think it's all in the tune we hear playing across our heart, if we hear it at all. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Thank goodness a lot of people do these days. It's a good time. I'd look at the youngsters, and I see some people that are willing and capable of carrying this thing forward and doing the finishing licks that us old hippies just never got around to,
Right.
They got to learn that, just like we do, they got to learn not to separate themselves as even a separate generation, We really, none of us should feel that way, because really, I don't think I grew a day since 17, no matter how old the years might make me, I think everybody's that way to a certain extent, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I'm one of the only ones you could probably fit in those clothes.
Yeah. Well, that's another story. What went on in 17 ain't going on now either, thank goodness, But the feeling, the newness of it, the freshness of it, I still feel that, like you've been around a little bit, but not very much yet. You're just starting to catch on, man, But you're ready for the journey. It's that feeling, 17, At least that's what I identify it with. You follow my drift there, hon?
Well, I don't know. I think I started growing up at 11.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, for me, that was anyway, yeah. 11's a good age too, man, but it's not teenage yet, so you don't know yet. You find out kind of quick, don't you? Especially when
it depends on where you're being raised at. Utah's a whole lot different than St. Pete, Florida. I mean, that was a tourist town. Everything was always moving, bustling, etc., etc. I was in and out of the bars, especially the biker bars at 17. They protected my butt because I wasn't drinking. I wasn't an idiot. And they were good guys. You know, people put a bad stigma on conditions and groups when they would have died for me. You know, that's how much they respected me. So the stereotypes got to go. When people want to say they're star children, they're this children, they're that children. No, they're just a different generation. If you start labeling them, it's going to put limits on them. And that's not fair.
No, not at all. But I tell you what, it's when you see people doing good things for other people like that, it just reassures me that we ain't lost it, that we are getting it back, and that humans are worthy, and that we don't have to consider ourselves as scumbags in any way. You know, no matter what we've done, we don't got to be doing that no more. You know what I mean? We can start fresh right here, right now, in this moment, and not be that anymore, not let the old thing affect us. You know, it's
Quit taking life so darn personal, right?
Yeah, don't take it so personal because it's happening to everybody else too.
Right.
You know?
But when you're centered and you know your self-love, and I'm not talking a selfish love, I'm talking about, well, I'm okay kind of, unconditional love. And your energies change everything wherever you go. That's just part of the natural cause and effect. And when people can feel like that, we would have a whole lot better time at all this.
Yeah, it's we do in our own way create all of that. Yeah, that's what, that's when you can start to be okay with it, understand it a little more. You know, it's hard at times still, even. I still got a lot of my old stuff going on, but at least I'm conscious of it, and I don't have to be that way anymore. You know what I mean? I don't have to act that way anymore. Whatever it's done that I thought was rude or insulting to people in the past, I'm not going to allow myself to be insulted like that. You know what I mean? I ain't going to do it to myself, in other words. Because when you're insulting other people, you're insulting yourself, putting them down. The whole idea is to help bring us around. That's what I want to do.
Yeah, well, there are those you can't reach. Some of those you just can't reach. They're possessed with such...
Well, there's nobody that's beyond reaching, not anymore.
I don't know about that.
That might have been true at some point in this world, because you sure saw a lot of them that seem to be unreachable, but I think even the worst of them can be reached because it really isn't the way it's portrayed to be, for starters, and so the rules and so forth are a whole lot different than what we think they are. When we're in that divided level, but when we're in the more unity conscious thing, and we just see another molecule fulfilling its role, that maybe it got cancerous along the way or something got messed up, so we're here to straighten it out, man. It's one of us. We can't let it go astray no more like that. Hurts too much. So
not just that, it's a disrespect, and we are here to learn respect.
Yeah, well, respect starts with yourself first. Us elders, we like that respect. We don't get much of it, but we like that respect. But it's because we've learned to respect our life, what's kept us alive and brought us to where we are now, right? You know that one. I know you.
Yep, that's it, honey. I respect even the material things because I raised 4 children. And I know what kind of torture they put on material things. And the more I blessed it, the more I tried to tell them, look, if you treat this with respect, it'll be here. If you don't, then I don't know who's going to replace it.
Yep, that's true, man.
It's all just simple communications, but we've been untaught how to communicate.
It's true, yeah. We've been isolated from one another. And more so in this day and age than ever before because of our technology. Yet it seems to be the very thing that's uniting us too, but in odd sort of way. Weird, isn't it?
I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I am too. It's going where it's got to go and doing what it's got to do. But, oh my goodness. We just got to hang on to our own little thing, get through that, and the rest is going to be all right. Don't you think? I mean, it's a merciful world, whether you know it or not.
Even if it's not, I'm making my choice to go out with a smile on my face.
You're darn right, Me too, that's the way it's got to be. That's the way it is. And I will accept that choice happily if that's what happens. I would rather see it come some other way.
I have nothing to be concerned about.
Yeah.
I've trespassed against nobody, and if anybody's trespassed against me, I forgave them so they can get their karma.
Exactly. Just let it go, man. Don't even worry about the karma. Just let it go. When you finally don't need that anymore, shoot, we're done. We're over.
Yeah, but the ones you're still putting out there, and I believe karma can be good and bad. It's just action, reaction, cause, and effect. You can't get out of it.
Exactly. It don't exactly work the way some folks think it does, but yeah, it's an action-reaction thing. But it does have a point. Its effect is to level out. After so much of it, you see the action-reaction is the illusion, and the level nature of it as the reality, that which is united.
Listen to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com, and we'll be right back.
There's no intent of battle, because we're all only assuming instead of recognizing that what you feed grows. And I'm not...
Yeah, exactly.
With your host, Joseph Atwell,
man.
author of Caesar's Messiah, the Roman Conspiracy to Invent Jesus, and Shakespeare's Secret Messiah, the groundbreaking discoveries that gives us a new understanding of how governments and elites use mind control to manipulate their subjects. Join Mr. Atwell as he lifts the veils of deceptions of our modern world. Mondays, 12 noon Eastern
in other words, go with
9
my own
a.m. Pacific
what's
time
inside of me.
on Revolution
that's me,
Radio.
That's what we are.
All right, we're going to go to the top of the hour break here, Peter. So I'm going to mute and be back a little right after 3 o'clock.
Enter into a world unseen on Raven Star's Witching Hour. You will encounter eclectic topics from the realm of spirit brought into our matrix of truth. With your host, the Solaris Blue Raven, Solaris will bring you an array of unique guests covering topics from ghostly spirits to amazing anomalies, covert technology, UFOs, and shadowy global events.
And that's right here, Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, Saturdays, midnight till 2 a.m. Eastern Time. Revolution Radio, where information never sleeps.
Let the magic rise.
The opinions expressed on this radio station, its programs, and its website by the hosts, guests, and call-in listeners or chatters are solely the opinions of the original source who expressed them. They do not necessarily represent the opinions of Revolution Radio and freedomslips.com, its staff, or affiliates. You're listening to Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, 100% listener-supported radio, and now we return you to your host.
I think we needed to get up. Oh my goodness. Do it. I don't want to hit any buttons. Okie.
It's on. Go ahead.
Be open. No,
Whatever.
That's recent.
But I am live. Okay, here we go. 3 o'clock.
All right. I'm going to put this on.
Imagine do it again, Peter. You talk. I'm going to do my bowls again. Just because I love them. Welcome back, freedomslips.com, revolution.radio, and Haggy Shack, and Cosmic Reality. Welcome, one and all. It is Tuesday, March 27th, 2018, and I have with me today Mr. Peter Coyote. Grandpa, what's hanging?
Yeah.
Are you settled yet?
Yeah, I'm there. I'm just moving out to my chair here, man. Hang on a sec here. I'm out here in the windy place of being. Kind of nice though, the sun's shining.
Well, lucky you.
There he is. There's my Okie boy. We made it. We live out here on the. We like to get out here, have a little fresh air and sunshine when we can, you know.
Right. Yeah, take advantage. Use those opportunities. So are you using an earbud, a headphone? How are you using your phone?
I'm just using my phone. I don't have a headphone for it, and my internet's down. Or I'd be doing it through my headphones there. That's why I have a little trouble. Hearing, because these cell phones aren't as good as they could be, you know.
Right. Well, but
they don't always.
You got it at least on speaker?
Yeah, I got you on speaker, yeah.
Okay. Because, I think
that
about it. Did I ever send you Shungite Band-Aids?
What's that now?
Did I ever send you any Shungite Band-Aids?
I don't think you did, no.
Okay, well, I'll have to work on that.
Yeah.
You're at a whole different place. You'll have to email me.
Oh, I will as soon as I can. My internet's been down for a few days now, and the guy that can fix it's not here. I just have to wait. That's what happens when you live in the country. You're on the end of the line. So you're not a priority customer unless you're doing a T1 or something, but then you're the whole line, and your neighbors love you because all of a sudden they got good internet too. But getting a T1 in a place like this is next to impossible, And it's not that far from town, but it's just a logistics thing,
Oh, yes, I do. I'm quite right, almost right there. Almost.
I mean, I used to be truthfully at the end of the line there in Crestone, Colorado. And I actually had better internet there than I got here. Not too far from civilization.
Are you still in Colorado, though?
No, I'm in New Mexico now. I came down here in December. Oh, actually November. I think I had some real serious stuff going on, and some people here offered to help me out, so I came down here, and I've been in the healing stages ever since. Boy, I wound up in the hospital for a couple of weeks and nearly lost it, but I came back like I usually do. So I think that's 7. I think I got 2 more to go.
Okay, but not closer soon.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm in a lot more gracious place. People here have really been kind to me, and I've really enjoyed my time here, and I really haven't got out that much and really gotten to know a big crowd. But I tell you, everybody that I've dealt with here has just been super conscious in a way. I mean, just nice. They're not necessarily, then another way they could be a bunch of rednecks too, but they've just been really conscious of humanity and helping each other out and stuff. You know what I mean?
Well, then I wouldn't call them rednecks.
But like I was at this one person I know, she's, got limited means, and she's in the grocery store and bought some stuff and come up 50 cents short. She didn't have enough to pay for it all, so she was deciding what to put back. And this guy behind her hands her a $50 bill, buys her groceries, This is when you know you're in the right kind of place, when you see stuff like that going on. It's not just what happens to you, but it's what goes on around you, too. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yep.
So I really enjoy that aspect of this place, and that's what I mean. We could come from all kinds of different political persuasions and so forth. Me, myself, I'm kind of apolitical. But anyway, we can come from a lot of different areas of life, too, but we're still got this thing going on. You know what I mean? It's what reassured me that we can pull through, that we don't have to let it die in the harsh, cold way that we've done before. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. I'm over the cycles of it because I want everybody to recognize it's still all a choice. And if look, if this is true fact, we had Mu, Lemuria, Atlantis, and this one, why would you want to keep doing this over again? Why do we let the parasites flipping control us?
Hey, I have seen in my time, these ancient cities coming back. Not to be braggadocious, just to be informative. Because I have seen them coming back, rising up out of the ocean or coming out of whatever hiding place they've been in. I have seen this happen. Now, timing thereof, who can be certain? But you know what's going to happen. If you've seen it happen, then somewhere in time it does exist, and it's going to happen if it ain't happened already, see?
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing. You got to have enough people believing in it to make the consciousness appear.
Something like that goes on, you betcha. There's no real exact way of doing it. It just happens when enough people think that way,
Yeah, and they're enough people just
get to that state of being, yeah. And that's all it takes, so thank goodness, Because if it took all of us, my goodness, it might take a while.
Well, time's an illusion, so you know what? Don't take it personal.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for that pleasant reminder. Indeed, we need that, baby. It's just a big old monkey truck of a show. But it's sure a lot of fun living in it. I am, quite frankly, entertained by it all, even some of the more horrible stuff that's being revealed, because I knew it was there all along. And I'm kind of laughing now because it's, now it's proven out that people can't deny it anymore. It's getting all too obvious. And I don't go out and promote that exposure. I just let it happen. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm not in control.
I wrote my book about it a while ago, and that's my statement on it right there.
Yeah. Remind me the name of your book.
Oh, it's called The Atomic Bum, B-U-M. What it means is the atomic hobo.
I remember I thought it was like Sunshine Bum.
Yeah, it's called The Atomic Bum, and it's also the thing you sit on. But it's, hobos used to come to our doors bumming for food. That's where the terminology comes from. And anyway, the author's name is Coyote Bear, B-A-R-E. It's one of my pseudonyms, because I stand pretty much naked in that book. I bear it all, But I just want people to know that horrible things can happen to good people, and we can still live to tell about it. And not only that, we can overcome the experience of that darkness too, and in a good sort of way, so that no matter what happens to us, wherever we go, we're doing just what you say. We're touching other people's hearts, and they're touching ours. And we're growing together, and things are really happening in this world. So I don't question its means and its modes. Sometimes I wish I didn't have to put up with as much pain as I do, but I do, and I will, and I'll continue until the day I drop, or I flop, or I hop into the angelic realm, and everybody goes with it. That's what I want to see happen here.
Whoops. These touchscreens really suck, man. On my touch screen, my finger had a jerk, and then it decided to go where I didn't want it to go. You know, that kind of out of control stuff. Stuff I don't take personal because I know better, you know.
Yeah, it happens when you're dealing with technology. You can be the worst part of it sometimes, you know, click the wrong thing when you didn't want to.
Well, the thing that got me last is I don't want Google Chrome anywhere near my equipment. So, all of a sudden one day I'm sitting there watching and it starts popping up. Nothing touched my computer. I was not touching or close to the computer. I quit.
They just did an involuntary.
Huh?
They just did an involuntary download on you, you know, or something like that.
They thought
Microsoft does that.
And then it would have slowed everything else down because it would be in confrontation with whatever I have already on there, and that's why I don't want it. And it's a Windows 8. So what is the 10 and all the rest of this stuff? I wonder what other people are going through just because of those Windows doors.
I got 10 on one machine and 7 on the other. I still prefer 7 by a long shot.
Yeah, me too.
10 just keeps updating itself. It does it involuntarily. You can't stop it. It just downloads this shit on you and then reboots your computer when you're not looking if you don't catch it in time. You know, it's a horrible thing, man. And 2 or 3 times I wiped out my machine, but I had to go back and redo it. And I found a way, thank goodness. But it's like you can't undo them, but it's tricky. You only get one shot at it. They're really nasty about it, you know. So I really don't like Windows 10 for that. As a program, it seems to be stable enough, but they're taking all of your digits, or they're recording everything you do on that machine and probably around it too, for all I know. You know,
they're probably mining for Bitcoin. You know what I mean? Trying to make everything a smart something, which is so detrimental to life. Oh, it's got to be smart.
Yeah. Well, they seen that the people made a good thing out of something they meant to impose control through, but it's had the opposite effect because there's so much free information out there now that people can't be lied to so much anymore, you know? So it's kind of turned the tables on it.
Peter. They're changing.
So that's what they're trying to stop. But guess what? We got a better internet yet that's coming down the pike, and pretty soon you'll see it. And it doesn't take computers and equipment to be it. It works automatically. It's coming to that state of consciousness is coming to the human.
It should have already been here.
That's why I know it's going to change, because once everybody's in that same place, it may take some of them a while to get used to it because it's so opposite of where they've been. But once everybody's in the same place, it will settle down and it will work itself out. Finally, after all these generations of pain and suffering that we've had to go through and still do, for the sake of the children and the grandchildren and the great-grandchildren, because we are those too, you know. We're just feathering our own nest when we're making it better for the future, you know. But we do it right now, right here, just by doing what you and I have been talking about all through this show, just being content inside of yourself and not letting this injustice knock us off balance, you know, because that's the only way to really oppose it. If you want to stop it, is not be unjust in yourself. Don't get caught up in the swing of it, you know.
My daughter's generation, she'll be 40 this year.
Yeah.
Is not feeling it anymore. So
yeah, I know. I mean, a lot of them going through it.
Look for her joy. Even though everything's copacetic right now, but she's lost it all. I mean, she's been through the ringer, but she can't find joy. She is so full of pain, and I don't know how to help her because one thing, she's in Africa, but, you know, there is a whole generation.
Send her a copy of my book. It may not be the best remedy on earth, but it might help somebody like that because they could understand what it's talking about. You know, I think a person like that could appreciate it. Those that have really had the shit kicked out of them in this life and have trouble recovering, you know, this will open a new dimension.
Yeah, but Peter, this was not the first time that she had the shit kicked out of her. Literally.
No, I understand. It starts when you're a child. That's the worst of it, is when you're a child. That's when they give you the worst of it, you know, thinking it's so horrible you'll never you'll try never to remember it, so you'll never get to the bottom of it. That's where it starts, is in your childhood.
Well, it's like you said, it's the independent thing, and we all feel abandoned when we abandoned ourselves.
Well, yeah, when we through the form of our parents, usually there's some real big letdown there, and we grow up, despising our parents. Yet, how do you not love your parents? You know what I mean? It's a weird. That's why teenagerhood is such a wild time, because you're trying to balance out those energies, and you're not getting anywhere with it. You know what I mean? It can drive you berserk. I know. I've been there, done that. So have you. A lot of us go through our stages. It's hard for me to give up the rebellion. I loved it so much. You know what I mean? But you can't let rebellion be the reason for your existence. You have to be creative about it,
Well,
so,
I always asked why, and then I had to investigate it first. I would not normally just jump in and do something stupid, because as a young age, I knew about repercussions. So I didn't want derogatory realities. I mean, seriously. I don't think we're all born with that kind of consciousness. But guess what? I at least set the example for my offspring and whoever else was around me to be released.
And you just let them go their own way with it, because they're not going to do the same as we would. But you just let them. My kids, pretty much cut themselves off, but they're doing really good as far as I can tell. What I see of them in this old world. And I just bless them for it, man. I don't try to dictate to them to think one way or another. I see that they caught what was good about it, and they're learning to let go of the other stuff too. You know what I mean? Yeah. I see they're doing pretty good. So I'm happy about it. I'm really pleased, and my grandkids seem to really be waking up and moving in really good directions, and being an influence in this world. Hell, I couldn't be more happy about it. You know what I mean? Even though I never see the little pikers, And that's one thing that the Internet's given us, the ability to see one another even when we're not talking to each other.
Right. I agree. My thoughts are powerful thoughts. So I have to be mindful to know that I'm not being create my life to be full of crap.
Yeah.
Well, I'm too lazy to keep cleaning up crap. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Got to have class. Don't want to be crass, man. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, no, I can't say I got class, okay? It depends on really what class you're talking about.
I said that for you because I think you do have a lot of class, girl. I'm really happy for what you're doing there at Revolution Radio as the feral hippie. I love it, man. And you couldn't be in a better place from what you described there. Nature's all around you. Hey, and I'll tell you what, I don't know what's happened to the copies of my book I got. I might have to order a few more. But if I do, it'd take me a week or two. But I'll give you a copy of that book, and you can send it to your friend in Africa that's having some difficulties. Or they can get it online. They can get it on Kindle for like $3.99 or something like that. It's next to nothing, if you want to get it electronically. But I can send you a hard copy of it, in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, leave a return address, and I'll send exchange.
All right, cool.
Well, you know me. Come on.
Hey, I do, baby. And
you don't have really a P.O. box now. So you don't have a P.O. box now, right?
Beg pardon?
Well, because when I was sending stuff, I couldn't send some stuff because you only had the P.O. box. Do you have the mail come to your house?
Yeah, I do now. Yeah, I got a different address.
Sweet! Okay.
I'll send it to you. Yeah, they delivered some medications yesterday. I mean, it's awesome. I get it brought right to my door out here in the boonies,
Well,
amazing.
That's great. I'm glad you're in a better location to where you can release, resolve, relinquish, and party on, man.
Exactly. I know it's a good place because I got on the medical side of it, I got some good doctors, and I'm really, like I say, everybody I run into here is really caring, and so I've been helped out a lot here. And, I just get more support here than I ever did where I was before. Not that everybody there didn't love me too, they just didn't know what to do. You know what I mean? Here they got the facility. I'm not 50 miles from the doctor,
Well, sometimes that's what you got to do, and send a little blessing to the people who are loving you, because they deserve a warm fuzzy too.
I wouldn't be where I am right now. I was near dead in December. I was in the hospital with double pneumonia on top of everything else I got going on, and my blood pressure was dropping down to nothing, and I was getting ready. They were telling me, don't worry, we'll make you comfortable. And I'm looking at them and like, God, I hope I don't die. And anyway, I knew I wouldn't, but I was awful damn close. I really was. But that's what got me out of it, was all them people pulling for me and telling me, no, you got to stay here. There's more to go. So then I did, and from that moment, no matter what medicines I've been doing, I've been getting better. You know what I mean? But I've been doing both. I've been doing Western medicines come a long ways in their treatments of cancer. So I've been able to employ some of that too. I've been blessed out. I got this Medicare Advantage thing that's helping me out a little bit. I still wind up thousands of dollars in debt that I'll probably never be able to pay off unless I.
Well, use your Scarecrow account. Make them use your Scarecrow account. They've been ripping money off of us for eons. It's time they pay us back.
It really is,
The currency bit. You know what I mean? What happened to that Jubilee thing where everybody was supposed to be on evil level footing, even though it's all an illusion? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I just remember, I've been kind of anti-doctor all my life because I watched them kill off so many of my friends, and I just thought their methods were kind of brutal, and they are. But at the same time, when the push come to shove, and it was either, go and submit to an operation that I'd never had before, ever, or die, I figured I'd give them a chance to save me at least once, I didn't know really what I was getting into. I went into there pretty blind, really, but I come out of it all right. And then, the next year, then I get the full-on stuff in my whole body. So now I'm dealing with that. But it does seem that Western medicine's been able to help me, too. And it changed a lot. They're more open to alternative treatments. There's just all kinds of really neat changes happening there if you got somebody to pay the bill. If you don't, I don't know what kind of...
Are you doing the colloidal silver at all?
Beg pardon?
Are you doing any colloidal silver?
Yeah, I do that every day. I've got some a tooth that's going bad that's affecting where I had my operation, so I've been using that a lot. I got probably gonna have to do some antibiotics too, but yeah, I've been doing quite a bit of
garlic and onion. Garlic and onion, the best antibiotics on this planet, besides Golden Seal. But you pay good price for Golden Seal. The good old great garlic and onion, your best antibiotic, plus honey. Those are your three most strongest antibiotics.
I eat a lot of honey in my daily diet. I get a lot of honey. I don't know why, but I've been drawn to sweets lately. I haven't done that for a long time. And all of a sudden I'm eating sweets here. Not a lot, just a little here and there, but for me it's a lot because I just haven't done that for a long, long time.
Make sure
I had a bit of a sweet too.
No artificial.
I just let my body tell me what it wants, and I go with the flow of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes I argue. Sometimes I argue with it. Doesn't seem to be sensible, but other times I just, I can't make myself feel bad about what I eat. I mean, that's a pretty basic thing in life.
You know what I say? Besides a blessing, I will transmute all poisons, toxins, and things.
And it does. It does too. I've been taking these heavy-duty chems and shit, but I'm doing all right just because I do bless everything I take into myself. And it does neutrify the toxic effects. It's pretty amazing how that works.
Because life is all by thought, Peter. Everything in our life is created by our thoughts. So how could we be detrimental and think that we know if it's harmful or not. You know, you just can't choose sides, but you can bless it because why not?
It's not that way at all, is it? So you don't want it to be that way. So you don't let it be that way. It's as simple as that, you know?
Well, I try.
If you bless it, it's good for you. Simple as that. But, you know, it's not a matter of belief. It's a matter of feeling it as you bless it.
Well,
if
that's so
true.
That, very true. Very, very, very true.
Yeah. So that's what makes it work. That's the power behind the blessing. But even if you feel a tiny bit of it, you know, and if you got somebody in your life, somebody in your life.
Hold on to what you're thinking, Peter. We're at the last break, so take a break and we'll be right back.
Hey, I love you, big hug your way. Thanks for putting up with me today. I appreciate it.
I love you. Don't you leave me. I'll be right back.
Okay, I'm here.
All righty.
Listening to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com, and we'll be right back after this message.
What the heck is the Truth Jihad? Hey, I'm Kevin Barrett, host of Truth Jihad Radio. Federal prosecutors, Department of Homeland Security agents, and curious passersby often ask me, just what is this Truth Jihad thing anyway? Well, everybody knows what truth is, but jihad is a misunderstood term. Jihad means effort or struggle. The greater jihad is the struggle to be a better person, while the lesser jihad is the struggle to defend the community. Prophet Muhammad, peace upon him, did say that the best jihad is a word of truth flung in the face of a tyrant. And that's what we do here at Truth Jihad Radio. Every Friday, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern, 5 to 7 Pacific, right here on Revolution Radio.
We talk about decentralization and bank annihilation. Bitcoin, Litecoin, MyCoin, Yourcoin, blockchain, baby. Mondays at 1600 hours Eastern, Studio A.
Find some comfort at Willow's World. A variety of news, commentary and poetry at Willow's Poetry Corner, where there are comfy cushions and a tempting selection of delectable comestibles. A show that's quirkily and quintessentially British, with a unique twist, featuring Willow Andreasen, your host. Join Willow, Monday, 6 to 8 p.m. EST, Studio B.
The opinions expressed on this radio station, its programs, and its website by the hosts, guests, and call-in listeners or chatters are solely the opinions of the original source who expressed them. They do not necessarily represent the opinions of Revolution Radio and freedomslips.com, its staff, or affiliates. You're listening to Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, 100% listener-supported radio, and now we return you to your host.
Woo, woo, woo. Here we are, back in the crisp end of winter, I hope. So you're sunshine, huh? We don't have any around here.
No, we don't got no moonshine here, man. You know, probably got plenty of methamphetamine, but I don't know where to get it.
That's sad. That's sad. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, I wish it wasn't. small town America's got the same problems big cities used to have now, you know, heroin and methamphetamine, pretty dangerous combinations, man. You know,
but why did we take away their future to have something to do, Peter? You know, when I was a youngster, there was places that were set up for the teenagers to go to. Play foosball, shoot pool, etc. And there was adult supervision.
Well, they're all into their phones now. They're all on the internet and Facebook on their phones, and that's where their attention's drawn. And then the video games, of course, I reckon. But I think these kids are just doing what they have to do to get through it. Just like you say, they're mostly incredible geniuses, and they're bored silly by what they see going on around them, and they're just waiting for the time they can do something about it. You know what I mean? And that's the way I kind of see that generation.
There's been so much fluoride introduced, Peter. There's so much fluoride introduced, and the Wi-Fi that goes on into the schools and things like that. And what? Huh?
Yeah, I tell you, they like to build cell towers next to high schools out here in the West for some reason or another. You see a high school, you see a great big cell tower right beside it, real frequently, you know. Not always, but they don't have much consciousness about that stuff just yet. People are catching on, though, and learning that ain't cool. That's frying your children's brains while they're at school. You can't be having that. But again, you can detoxify it with a little bit of that orgonite kind of energy.
Right.
And, neutralize the effects. It's kind of cool how that works, man. I got a little piece of orgonite. If I've got it out sitting on my desk, I can't do Wi-Fi. It just blocks it all.
I gotta send you some shungite. That'll help.
Oh,
really?
Cool.
I haven't sent you already some shungite? Well, but we'll get it together because I want you protected no matter what. So, we'll get message addresses later.
Yeah, I appreciate all the help I can get. I really do, and I love you for it, man. It's like, I really don't like being in a place where, you know, but at the same time, I feel honored that people will share with me in the way they do and the way they have, too, you know. I just feel pretty blessed by it all. It's been hard economically, but people have sent a little bit here and there, and it helped out a lot, you know. So,
right.
I really appreciate everything. If anybody can share, because Lord knows I share everything I got. You know, I do. I put it all right out there on the line. I don't monkey around. If it's going on, I'm there talking about it and rocking down with it, too. You know what I mean?
You can't receive unless you give, and that's why I don't create problems, because I don't want any.
No, it's all a fresh beginning. Every moment, man, is a fresh beginning. It's a spring creek moment, you know? Like every breath we take is a new opportunity to think and feel differently than we have, you know?
Well, but people have been trained to believe that things are all a problem when they're not. They're opportunities. It might be a challenge, but what the hey, what isn't?
Exactly. Roll up your sleeves and dive in. Let's have a good time. I think that's what the kids of that millennial generation are waiting for, is, you know, something to dive into. You know what I mean? You got to have a worthy cause. I think somebody's going to come along and demonstrate to them what they need to do. You know what I mean?
Well, but they've got to want to know it. They've got to want to have that split answer to, because I know when I was 24 years old, Peter, I got rid of the 3D experience because I knew it was all a lie. And I couldn't lie to my children because they deserve so much better.
Yeah, you were way ahead of me, man. I was quite a bit older when I finally started to catch on.
I just didn't live in a good environment as a child. And then when expectations arose, that's when the rebellion came, because my parent wasn't there during those years, and I'm talking years. So how am I supposed to change for somebody else? Well, you know, I get all these degrees, but I can't get jobs because I'm a female, and just other blockages everywhere. I couldn't live the American dream. even though I knew it. And I had all this education and everything else, and I would have made people a great employee, you know, and just I create my own existence because there was no trust in the environmental equation. In my
Yeah. Sometimes you got to do that. Take a stand on principle. I did it in my younger days too, because I started out in the movie business, you know, and I did the theaters for a while, and then I was an executive with a film company for a while. I'm just a young guy, 21, 22 years old. I hit 22. I just realized I couldn't live that way anymore, that it was just too
dangerous.
Dangerous and deceptive. I figured if I was going to make a living, I'd do it honestly, and I went back to driving trucks, you know. I took a year off and be the hippie to get my soul back, and then I went back to driving trucks, you know. So now I've done 3 million miles of that. Plus I've run a whole lot of little independent businesses, as well as done a little bit of corporate stuff since then, not much, but mostly just little independent businesses that I started myself or helped somebody else start, stuff like that. I've done a lot of that in my time too. So I've been exposed to a lot of experience, you know, and I've become, because I've been slammed around a lot, you know, and I've been hit a lot, I've become like this little fountain of wisdom that people can turn to every now and then, and I'm going to have something for them, you know. Well, there's not many lives out there I can't relate to, you know.
Exactly. I believe that's the whole cause and effect of our consciousness.
Yep. That's why I do my radio stuff, too, because I want people to know that, you know, no matter how bad or good it gets, there's always more to go to this medicine show. There's always another level of it. And that the more you get into it, the more happy about it you'll become for real. And you'll be able to have some peace inside, though you might still have some rage going on, too. We are human, and we do have that aspect to deal with. You know, but
Peter,
even that can be turned in a really good way.
Well, but that's the whole thing. We've denied our spirit. And if we lived in this meat suit, in our spiritual form of unconditional state of being, because we're going to only take our consciousness with us through the transition of what they call life and death. Now, if we don't have our soul together in some kind of frame of balance, that's why there's ghosts and apparitions and other things like that. They get stuck in the realms that they don't have to. And it's all because of how they behaved, thought, dealt with, treated others in this dimensional realm.
Yeah, and they never quite got past it,
Right. And so it's
you know,
funny.
They're easier to help over on that side. Once they've hung out here for a while and realize they made some mistake along the way, then it's just a matter of tuning into them, these ghost-like appearances, and helping them see what they missed. And when they see it, they go right to it every time. It's the light, the love that, you know, somehow they missed it.
Right.
Yeah, somehow they miss it.
Let them know that they are, you know, human in soul and spirit. Now go to your next step.
Yep. I never, you know, I've had my share of near death, but it's always made me appreciate the life I'm living a little more. Because I get peace about it. Every time I go to
know that.
Yeah.
No. I don't know what I would have done, man. Oh my gosh.
Well, I tell you, when you're faced with that kind of love, it really is no choice at all. You just go with the flow of it. You know what I mean? If it wants you there, you go there. And if it don't want you there, well, you might grudgingly return, but you come back and you do your thing. You know, it's like, because that's the way it is. See, that's what I mean about the choosing thing. It's kind of an illusion because it's just a matter of realizing what you've already chosen. You see, we could be made to doubt all of that and move away from it, obviously. But it's like when you're in those near-death moments and you remember that love, I mean, it's more than the word can describe. But then you remember how absolutely, I don't want to say silly or meaningless, but those are the words that come to mind. But, you know, you can take a lot of joy out of the life you've lived already because you start to see it differently when you're in that.
Well, I see everything as a benefit. There is nothing story in my life, no matter the damnation that I had to experience.
Yeah, exactly. But we got through that, and now we know better, don't we? It's beautiful. I mean, it's just like...
Yeah, no doubt there. It's more than beautiful. Yeah. It's profitable. Because I've had a better...
So what we got... Well, I guess what we got to do is be near death all the time, and we'll find the life.
The Tibetan way. The only way to know about death is to know how to live. I think that's what it says.
That's true. I think that's reality too. You know, you got to be able to appreciate your life to live it. You know, that's the sadness of youth, because a lot of times you don't have that appreciation for what you got. Especially, you know, we spoiled a few generations here now, and you know, it's hard for them to relate to life when they've never really had to live it. They kind of tend to get numb, you know. But I know they'll come out of it, but I do. It's a sad state.
Well, but it's got to be a big, hairy deal. You know, what happens if the grid goes out? That would be the big, hairy deal. And if there wasn't...
Oh, God, yeah, we'd be like caveman in no time at all, man.
Yeah,
caveman.
Just think of the withdrawal symptoms, Peter.
Yeah, no shit. Oh, my God. Myself included. And we've got our whole lives built up in this electronic world. If it goes away, I mean, that's the whole life we've been living. It's like, what?
I started mine in 2010, so I've only got 8 years into it. But my children were born to do it. They had the technical knowledge on how to manufacture, program, and utilize the system. It's just that we've let it go to the dark side to be used, as well as the white side. Well, just don't pick sides.
But it's like a pendulum, though. It only swings so far, and then it comes back.
Right.
You know, so it goes to the dark side. This is why I think we haven't lost our grid, and probably won't, because we create miracles all the time, and our power grid is a living miracle in itself that it even functions. You know, but anyway, so I think we'll keep the miracle going long enough, because I think the pendulum is swinging back the other way. That's what I'm talking about. The kids go numb, and finally they realize, you know, something happens where they do get a little feeling, a little glimpse of the reality of spirit, mystical stuff, you know, and all of a sudden they say, I knew that all along, and they let themselves pursue that feeling.
Hey, adults are going through that.
In 24 hours, they can be just completely turned around, man. You know?
Well,
we can be, all of it. Yeah.
I'm game for that. I'm willing to consider that.
You're ready for it. Well, I think it's
bug, okay?
I've been thinking for years that it's really close. Well, we'll just wait and see, won't we? But how can it be much further away? I mean, you know, we've done so much work to bring it this far. I mean, how can it be that much further away? I think we've got to let go of our little time thing and just accept that reality and be it. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, because divine right order has its own mechanisms of workings about providing what it is we're working with. Nothing is instant.
Exactly.
Nothing.
Exactly.
I mean, they try to sell you on it, but heck no.
Yeah.
So quit falling for the sales pitches, because
there's no need. Yeah, no need, man. There's nothing here that we can't recreate in one quick little hurry or create as we need.
That's why I think, and I am aware of what I think and say, because I will not put something out there that'll harm anything or anything else of that nature. Now, there are moments I've had to talk myself out of them, but you know what I mean, because I was watching, because I know I'm my own creator, and that's all there is to it.
But, you know, frustration and anxiety and little upsets are a part of it.
Momentary lapse of reason, Peter. We don't have to hang on to that stuff. Why do we accept
exactly. Let it go. Don't beat yourself up with it, or don't praise yourself with it either. Just go on. Don't be that way again. You know, I mean, just make that determination in yourself. Just go with the flow of the time.
Cut the cord. Cut the cord.
Yeah.
Not your cord. The cord that's hanging on to you to make you be who you are knowingly not wanting to be.
Yep.
And don't allow others to push you into that, because their energies aren't worthy of yours if they're attacking you. Do not accept it. You are not the lower shit everybody thinks that they are, because we've not been nurtured and given that unconditional creative freedom. Go ahead.
Well, that's why I tend to take on other people's blessings as burdens, because, I just feel that that's part of my gig. And sometimes I have to just learn to let that go and not be that way anymore, because everybody's equally empowered, and everybody needs to experience what they do. I think my phone's about ready to die, yeah. Oh, no, that's a call. I'll just have to let that go for a minute, yeah.
Are you into the tri-bifocal system here, Peter?
The what now? I mean, I just got a dumb old phone.
They make the print so small. Are you in the bifocal or trifocal stage, Peter?
Well, I'm still bifocal, but I get the progressive bifocals,
Okay. Yeah, I'm getting close to thinking about it. I don't like it because I'm an artist with the good perspective of eye, and but it's all by my beliefs, so it depends on what I'm looking at and how I look at it, but I can normally get through a lot more than most because I don't like putting in the word I can't, because I'll try. Yeah. And then if it isn't accessible, then there's a reason why, and that's okay. It's just not available to get done. It's not that I can't, it's just that it's not available to get done.
Yep. So you move another way, do whatever comes to you, man. It's a beautiful way to live. I'm starting to catch on. I'm a bit of a difficult case, but I'm catching on. My dog is teaching me a lot,
Oh yeah.
It's good to have a dog around, because just how dog is God spelled backwards, well, this is a backwards world. So guess where God is? It's in the dog, man. So you got to pay attention.
Odie, right?
Huh?
What's his name?
Oh, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Yeah, he's like the wisest little weenie dog in the universe. Yeah, he knows I'm talking about him too. That's how wise he is, man.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, but I've been taking care of a kitty cat, and Tuxtitude is just amazing. I've never seen such big paws on a cat before, but the life is, the love comes back to you. And this cat is so open to everything. I mean, that just proves that the land I'm on is not unhappy land. You know what I mean?
No, exactly. Yeah, beautiful. Yeah. That's the way it should have. That's one thing I feel fortunate about the home I'm living in right now. It's a shared house, but we got dogs here. I brought mine with me, and there was two big ones here already, and they've just been great companions, really
cool.
Good energy. Good to live in that kind of energy in a place where they're so well respected. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
It's a good thing. A lot of people don't treat their animals really well. Well, these people do, and it's awesome to be around them, In fact, if anything, they'll overdo it. Just like me, I like to give them too much.
I've seen this guy across the creek when I lived at Cairns, and he would let that dog out into 6 inches of snow. It was a little terrier. I was praying for that dog all the time. I'm like, why don't you put the dog in the house? I mean, I would put the goose in the house, but she's made for cold winter. No, I wouldn't put the goose in the house. But still, to the idea, I knew that she needed it, but she doesn't. She's made for that kind of weather, So, but still, you leave the critters that you love in the house. That's all there is to it.
I've had dogs in. Dogs have been a major part of my existence. Well, I was raised in an agricultural environment. We had cattle, and we did farming too, and trucking. So, I mean, I had animals around me all the time besides the dogs, but the dogs are what got me through, And the horses. I call horses big dogs. I don't have don't have any right now, but, they're expensive to keep these days. And I don't have the opportunity I once did, but I sure had a good time with them when I did. I even had a trail string up in Oregon for a few years, man. It got real popular. I had people from all over the world coming to ride my horses. It was awesome, man,
Such great memories. See, you did create a great existence in life, and you've always brought smiles to people's faces. That's why
I always tried to do that. I tried to live a good life and help other people feel a little better about themselves one way or another,
Why not?
I always felt that.
Less mess to clean up, man.
I know how to make them feel bad, too, but I try not to do that as a part of this journey anymore. But as a kid, I didn't know any better until I'd done it a few times. Then I realized that there was far more power in that kind of stuff than I needed to be messing with, so I quit doing it. The one that really shocked me out of it was like this one friend of mine, and I will call him a friend, and almost like a brother. He was a cop, there in this small town where I grew up, and I did some unfortunate stuff that was a little bit of a criminal nature, and I was in jail waiting to go see the juvenile judge. I was like 17 at the time, I think, or just turning 17, somewhere in that area. And this guy came into that jail and took me down to this interrogation room and got out all these drugs in this rubber hose and stuff. He's preparing to really tear into me. He's going to get me to give him confess for everything that ever happened in that little town or ever will again, And I just looked at him and I said something like, "Who you think you're trying to kid?" And then I went on to explain to him the nature of his small town, the reality of the corruption in it and what he was being a part of. The guy had tears in his eyes. He went and had a nervous breakdown. He never laid a hand on me. Took me back to my cell and left me alone,
Well, it's a good thing to know when not to shut up. Damn the torpedoes, man. That's it. The universe says you got to hear it from me.
Yeah, well, but I also realized not to be so harsh on people with the truth. Because I'd had that happen to me a few times before that. I'm not here to drive people over the edge or give them what they deserve. I'm not, I'm not that kind of person. I'm there just to help them see their ways truthfully so they don't do it anymore. You know what I mean?
You know how I found...
I don't even think of it in those terms when it's happening. I think of it more in terms of self-survival. You know what I mean?
One of the best
I knew that I was going to be... Peter. I knew I was going to be drugged and beaten there, and I didn't want to be drugged and beaten. So I did what I
want to blame you. One of the best ways to get your point across is by asking them a question. And it doesn't even matter what you're asking, or it does matter how you might be saying it or whatever, because then it takes the accusing out. It takes away that, it puts a little personal into it. And it works really well in circumstances beyond your control.
Yeah.
I'm thankful you got through that. That really is a great story. Oh my gosh. I mean, really, you got to give yourself a big hug, Peter, because you have skid the line and gotten off with the rainbow unicorn and Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, baby, I tell you, I come a long ways from that, haven't I, man? Gee, though. I can tell you darker stories than that, but I won't. They're in the book. I dealt with that one in the book, and I don't want to ever even think about it again. You know what I mean? But it's over with. You can get through an incredible amount of shit in this life if you just try to treat yourself right and treat others right too. And that's what I've always tried to do. I ain't always been the best at it, but that's what I've always tried to do. I've always tried to treat folks well.
It depends on which you're going to feed, Peter, because if you get caught in the fear and the worry and the concern, then you put up barriers and blockades. If you put out my gosh, this didn't happen, so I'm blessed, or anything else like that, just to talk it into its natural state of being, no matter what's occurring, because then usually you can slide right through it. You ever watch?
Yeah, true.
Some of my favorite cartoons was the Avatar: The Last Airbender. Now, I did see the movie when it came out, and I'm not a big movie fan or whatever, but a lot of these old things of just learning to be in the moment. Just by Tai Chi, I spent over 12 years recognizing what Tai Chi was, and it's like, get the heck out of the way, because everybody's going to act in the same kind of condition, and all you have to do is move to the side. Don't stand there in fear. Be confident that you can walk away from it, because usually they're just dipshits and assholes, and you don't have to accept that.
It's true. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, I know about street fighting and all that. I don't like any of it, but it doesn't mean that it did build my character to know how to change it. Thank you, Peter.
Yeah, it did.
I love you.
I love you too, baby. Thanks for having me and putting up with me. I appreciate it. We'll talk again real soon.
Yeah, get the address, my Facebook and internet.
Okay, I will. I'll send that to you. Later. My internet's up anyway.
Okay, well, it's going to happen real soon, I'm sure. We'll get back together. I got the phone. All right.
Okay, I'll be in touch, babe.
All right.
You're listening to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com, and we'll be right back after this message. Thank you for listening to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. Any commercial advertising you may hear in this program is of the sole discretion and benefit of the host of whose program you are listening to. Revolution Radio does not endorse any commercial products, nor does it accept monetary compensation for on-air advertising of commercial products, nor will it ever. We are and shall remain 100% listener supported. Any product advertising on this program are considered used at higher risk, and Revolution Radio shall not be held liable for any claims or damages received from any product advertised within this program. Revolution Radio, where information never sleeps.
Most guys freeze. That's your cerebral cortex looking for an answer it doesn't have.
See? Even your brain knows you're screwed.
The body's filling with adrenaline right now, whether you know it or not. Your heart's beating fast. It's getting a little harder to breathe. The neurobiological system is telling it to run, but your knees are too weak to move.
Fear is not real. The only place that fear can exist is in our thoughts of the future. It is a product of our imagination, causing us to fear things that do not at present and may not ever exist. That is near insanity. Do not misunderstand me. Danger is very real, but fear is a choice. We are all telling ourselves a story.
You're listening to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. 100% listener-supported radio. Reporting to danger. Unafraid. Right here, where information never sleeps. Revolution. Radio. Is your data safe? Do you have the necessary information to assist you in confidently living through just about any survival situation? Is survival and gardening, off-grid living, medical knowledge, or even natural or man-made EMPs on your list of personal concerns? Do you have your documents and your personal information in a